Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
see, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just saying, how does that equate to how does that equate to cricket? Do you?
Yeah, they're not similar. Have you played rounders? Have
Yeah,
you played
yeah.
it?
Rounders. I quite love rounders, and I understand how it's played. It's just I
You
can't.
you don't- you never played cricket though.
No, I've never played. I don't think I've ever played
No.
cricket. Yeah, but yeah,
I mean, they're very different games. I mean, the only similarity, I guess, is that a ball is bowled or thrown to
in bat.
someone with a bat or a rounder's baton or whatever you would call it,
Yeah,
and you try and hit the ball. But cricket is I suppose, a much tougher game in that the balls are sort of made of, they have a leather coating
yeah,
and they're heavy, probably similar to a baseball, if ever you've held a baseball.
yeah,
So having one of those cricket balls or baseballs hurled down at you at tremendous speeds,
yeah.
it's not the best place to be if you're a bit wary of flying cricket balls or baseballs.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. They're not similar, but there is that similarity of trying to hit a ball, a fast traveling ball with a relatively small bat.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I quite enjoyed rounders. I've played it a few times with mates, and their kids, and the kids love it. They just, kids go
they
crazy
do. Yeah,
around
yeah.
it. But I don't think I've quite played cricket. I don't think so. But I think I find cricket quite intriguing. So I will be
Mm.
looking into cricket just to understand the game because I've never understood the game. I believe I mentioned it before.
Find it on Sky. I don't know if you have Sky TV, but
All right,
they
yeah,
have a cricket channel
yeah.
in the summer months.
All
So
right.
that's where you could
Okay.
just watch it for an hour and you'll understand
Oh,
what
okay.
they're trying to do.
We'll have to do that because they talk about runs. They go 56 runs to, I'm thinking run.
Yeah.
Where is it running to, But yeah,
Well, is a batsman at each end. There's two wickets.
right.
So 22 yards apart. So that's the distance. And when
Yeah.
one of them hits, one of them is being bowled at, and they have six bowls in one over. So if the batsman hits the ball and they can cross over and go to each other's wicket,
Yeah.
that's one run, provided the fielding team don't get the ball and knock over the wickets before the batsman gets there. If they do, that batsman is out, and they've got 11 players altogether.
All
So
right.
that's so you can run as many runs as you can, but if you hit the ball over the boundary,
Yeah.
the edge all the way around the cricket pitch, that's automatically 4 runs, so you don't have to run them. And if you hit it over that boundary rope and it hasn't touched the ground first, that's a six. That's 6 runs. So
Right.
that's how the runs build up.
Is that how? All right.
So
Yeah.
you literally don't run every run because there's fours and there's sixes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So how many players do they start out with then? Is it?
It's 11 each side. So the batting side will have two of their players on the pitch, one at each wicket,
Uh,
and the other 9 players on the batting side are in the pavilion. And then when somebody's out, they come off, and the next batsman goes on. I think nowadays they have to call them batters
yeah.
because women play cricket like they do the other sports like rugby and football and everything. So I think to get the language right,
Okay.
they now call them batters
Yeah.
rather than batsmen.
Right.
As
Yeah.
in football, when someone might shout out, to your teammate, man on. In other words,
Yeah.
someone's got the ball and there's another guy from the opposition about to take it.
Yeah.
You say man on. Now, I don't, my experience when I've watched some of the ladies' games, the women's games, I think they also shout in that situation, man on, because
Right.
it would be too much. It's
Yeah.
too much to say woman on or something like that. So they adapt to that. But generally, instead of what used to be man of the match, they now say player of the match, which I think is good because it's all inclusive language
Yeah.
for everybody who's playing the sports, the games.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Times are changing, aren't they? So, and we've got to adapt as well. Um,
We've seen lots of changes really the last 20, 30 years with
oh yeah.
mobile phones changing the culture of everything, and even laptops. Everyone has a laptop, and most people do at home.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of technological changes in the
Yeah.
last 20 years or so, isn't there?
Yeah.
And I guess that's going to go on. You see a little toddler now running around in wherever, and you think, I wonder what changes that little one will see in their lifetime. Probably tremendous changes, really. People going to Mars and stuff like that. But as we've seen, it's interesting thinking of those huge sizes of the universe. I mean, in many respects, the Earth and the Moon
Yeah.
are like touching grains of sand in terms of the size of the universe. So yeah, I think there's going to be massive changes still to come, that we probably couldn't even dream about. If you'd said to people, I don't know, 150 years ago, that you could go up in this machine and it will keep you up in the air, for 16 hours if necessary, taking you to another part of the world,
Yeah.
they probably would have laughed at someone saying
Absolutely.
something like that.
Yeah.
But it happens. We see the magic all around us of human ingenuity,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
we take it for granted. We do, which, as I say, is understandable. We all do that. But just sometimes it's good to reflect when you see a huge aeroplane up in the sky,
Yeah.
thinking of the brilliance of humankind that puts it up there and keeps it up there. And all the other things as well,
Yeah.
the computer, a mobile phone. You can speak to someone in Australia from here, or wherever there's a signal ability. The mobile phone is an incredible little device,
Yeah.
incredible device.
Yeah.
But we all use it every day, most of us, and I think we appreciate it. We appreciate its magic. But
Uh-huh.
which of us could possibly describe how it works or anything like?
No.
We will be like goldfish describing how a television works. We just wouldn't have a clue. But we have all the advantages of some brilliant minds in societies now and in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the mobile phone is something that you could never describe to somebody that lived before the mobile phone era, if that
No,
makes sense. It'd be hard to describe it, you know.
yeah,
Say, for instance, if somebody that lived in the 1800s came back to life and you saw you talking on the phone to somebody else,
mm,
it could
mm.
gone mad.
It would seem ridiculous, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
It really would seem incredible,
I think you lost your
quite
mind.
incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Now, um, is it true that everyone or everybody has a I know a guy in their life? You know what I mean, don't you? You know.
No, you've got to be correct though, politically correct. And
Right.
me, you've got to say I know a guy or I know a girl. You can't
All right.
just
That's it. Yeah. So
say one. I mean, there is such a thing now as a girl with a van, isn't there? It's always been a
absolutely.
man with a van. I've
Absolutely.
actually seen one or two adverts over the last, I don't know, couple of years, even
Yeah.
on a van itself. I'm a girl with a van, and why not? It doesn't rhyme, man van or white man van, but it could be white girl van nowadays. So we have to be correct, I guess, and rightly so, because with construction, for example, of the incredible buildings around the world, like in Dubai and places like that. Very often, well, always nowadays, there's many female engineers who are, civil engineers and all sorts of construction engineers who operate in those areas just as much as men do.
Yeah.
So
So I
we're
agree.
having to shift our sort of impressions, which I suppose going back when years ago, it was men who were the workers who went to work, and women often did, but perhaps on a part-time basis.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays we have to respect, there has to be this equality, this equal approach. And I think most of us accept that and welcome it, to be honest,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of very clever. It sounds really patronizing. I don't mean it to be, but
No.
there's as many clever women out there as there are men, if
Yeah.
not more so sometimes. And I think men, in a way, do tend to get more of the praise and the credit for things.
Oh,
So
don't
I
get.
can understand the frustration that women sometimes feel.
Yeah, yeah, I truly agree with you on that. Yeah. So on when I brought up that topic about the I know a guy or I know a girl,
Yeah.